Welcome to my day 1 quest guide for the final dawn. Now, this is a very early day 1 guide, which means there are going to be some rough around the edges parts. It might not be exactly point A to point B because all of the best routes and or methods haven't been fully discovered. But the whole point of this is to get a very early guide out for you to help you get to the Doom boss or the Delve boss as quickly as you can. Now, in terms of item requirements, what I wore during this quest is this current gear setup you have right here. I use range for a majority of the boss fights. You are going to need at least some range or mage type weapon. The final boss exclusively, you do have to use a range weapon at some point in the end of the fight. Otherwise, there is a wave-based little PvM mechanic in the middle of the quest, similar to that of like Song of the Elves, where you just have to out-DPS a wave of monsters before they're able to kill the guards you are protecting. Blowpipe's pretty decent for that, going along with the range gear. Other than that, you do need a melee weapon or potentially some melee gear depending on your stats and what weapons you have. One of the Demi bosses does protect from range and mage, so melee is the only option you can use there. As for item requirements, the only item technically required is bones. You can obtain these during the quest, but if you start the quest with them, you don't have to worry about that. And the other items required are the emissary robes. But if you already did delete these from your bank, I will show you how to re-obtain them during the quest. So don't worry about getting them ahead of time, but make sure if they are in your bank, you do have them in your inventory ready to go. As for teleports and recommended items, this is a decent starting setup for food, prayer, and staminas. You will use quite a few staminas during this quest. This honestly might be a little overboard. There are plenty of opportunities to bank throughout the quest. You run by plenty of different banks. But for the most part, if you start with a majority of your gear and food in your inventory, you don't have to worry about trying to bank between every single little PvM spot. Other recommended items, I use the Pendant of Eights for my teleports, along with the Civitas Illifortis teleports. And then as a final note, before we jump straight into the guide, my inventory won't look exactly like this as soon as the guide starts. This is pre-recorded. So as long as you set your inventory up something similar to this with your best range gear or range/melee gear, you will be good to go and everything else should flow accordingly. To start the quest, go ahead and talk to Servius, and a quick cutscene should occur. Now from here, you want to use your Pendant of Eights to teleport to the Twilight Temple. Make your way over here to the west, and open this chest to get you a duplicate set of the emissary robes. Once you've equipped the robes, let's make our way out here to the east, and over here into the temple where the altar icon is. And as soon as you enter, a cutscene should start. Once the cutscene ends, you want to make your way over to this staircase and try to climb down it. And we'll have to select two options. The first one is Final. And in the second option, you select Dawn. Once you're down the staircase, let's make our way into the east area. And now we have to make our way through this corridor without getting caught by this enforcer. Use these little entrances. Once he passes by, make your way over to the door all the way on the eastern wall. And once that cutscene ends, now we need to explore this area. Make your way over here into the southernmost room and search the bed. Inside the bed, you should find a key. And in with this key, we want to make our way back into the northern room and use it on these drawers. Once you open it, go ahead and search it, and inside you should find a canvas piece. Once you get the canvas piece, go ahead and use it on the painting on the eastern wall. And select option 1 to enter the passage. Once you enter the new room, try to open the chest. And with this, you'll have one of the number puzzles. We've seen these from previous quests. As you can see right here, I actually already have 2 numbers in the correct location. If there's no color, that means it is a wrong number in the wrong spot. So as you can see, my A and C are wrong, but my B and D are correct. So all you're going to do is just trial and error. Now I have 3 green in the correct spot. And I'm just going to keep guessing with C because I have 3 out of the 4 and I have plenty of spots to hijack. There we go. Once you finish it, you will get the scroll. And as soon as this cutscene ends, the first boss fight of the quest is going to occur, where you have to kill this enforcer. Now, one benefit of this boss is it has a little delayed attack style, so you can just kind of kite it around the room. Just keep running around. And as long as you don't, you might take a little damage whenever it does its range attack. Otherwise, prayers are disabled in this fight, so just make sure you keep your distance. And it seems like range or mage are both very viable for this fight. Just attack and kite around, and it's as simple as that. Once you kill it, pick the scroll back up. Go ahead and read it. And once you got the scroll back, we want to make our way back to the palace to talk to the queen. Head up the staircase. And all the way on the top floor, in the southernmost room, is the queen. Now we're going to go find Forebearer Janus. You can either run out the castle or just burn another one of the teleports. And it is down here just south of the western bank. If you need to up some of your staminas or grab something else from the bank, here's a very easy opportunity to do so. Now once you've made it to the house, you want to talk to Captain Vibia just here to the southeast. And after completing that dialogue, we can now inspect the windows. Go ahead and inspect this one to the southeastern room. And given the options, select option 1 to force it open. Once you've done that, you'll climb through. And this is where your bones come in handy. Go ahead and use the bones on the dog and quickly calm him down. Once you've done that, you can make your way through the door. And for this code, you will enter GUS. Once you do it correctly, Vibia should jump into the house with you. And then select option 2, I'll get searching. First thing you want to do is grab the knife off of the table in the western room. Take the bucket off of the barrel just a couple steps south. Make your way up to the top floor. Use your knife on this potted fan to get a branch. Use your bucket over here on this plant pot to fill it with sand. Now that we have our bucket of sand, let's make our way down to the next floor. Up here in the northeastern room, grab the coin pouch. Open it. Use the bucket of sand on the coin pouch, and then use the branch on the sandy coin pouch to get a makeshift blackjack. And then now that we have the makeshift blackjack, go ahead and grab the sack of potatoes. Make yourself a few inventory spots to empty the potato sack. You can drop the potatoes on the ground, you don't need them. But now once we have an empty sack and a makeshift blackjack, you want to talk to Captain Vibia. Now that we've knocked out Forebearer Janus, go ahead and search him. And then after another little cutscene, let's select option 1, yes, let's go. And once we're in Cantorm, you want to make your way just a few steps north and talk to Atala. And now that we've finished the dialogue, you either can already have a beer in your inventory, or if not, grab some GP out to grab one from this bar over here. Trade the bartender, buy just a regular old beer. And now we need to make our way into this building just east of the bank right here on the map. Once inside, a short dialogue will occur. And then after that, go ahead and use the beer on Gauna. And once you've done that, you can now make your way down the staircase. Now for this part, we want to use this cabinet over here on the western wall to pull off drinks. Go ahead and grab one beer. Then grab a Dwarven Stout. Select more options. Grab a Wizard's Mind Bomb. And we need to start using these on these barrels that we can inspect. First one up here to the north. It is just a standard barrel, so we're going to use a standard beer on it. Now down here in the southeastern room, there is another barrel. And when we expect it, it says it is bubbling a fair bit. For this barrel, we want to use a Wizard's Mind Bomb. On the barrel directly to the south, it said it is stained with a black liquid. This is where we want to use the Dwarven Stout. Now the last drink we want to grab is a Steam-Forged Brew. And for this final barrel in the corner, there's a small steam coming out of it. Use the Steam-Forged Brew on this barrel. And now for the last one, we want to grab a beer. Go ahead and drink it. And then use the empty beer glass on the far eastern barrel. Once all of them are in the correct place, you should see a slight cutscene where the fireplace turns itself off. We want to make our way over here and inspect it. Pull the lever. And you've now opened this little hole on the south wall that you can climb through. Once the cutscene ends, make your way back through the hole and talk to Serveus. Once they teleport away, make your way up the staircase and back out the door. And now we need to enter the entrance for Perilous Moons. As soon as you enter, you'll automatically be entered into the dialogue. And you'll receive a Keystone fragment. Now this is very similar to the item that you got in the Perilous Moons quest, the Talisman. When you touch the Keystone fragment, it'll tell you what direction you need to run into. Now, if it is similar to Perilous Moons, there are multiple different options you have available for this part of the quest. You will just have to follow whatever direction your Keystone is telling you. Now I had the option of northeast, and this is exactly where mine started to shake and falls back in. And now that I've touched my Keystone fragment and it shook, my location reset and I have to once again go northeast. Keep following where it tells you to go. The fragment shook and fell back into my hand again. Now if I touch it, it tells me to go south. And now that we finally made it into the last little room. Now before entering, there is another boss fight slash little demi-bosses through this wall. Make sure you do have all your combat gear and food and potions ready to go. They are not very difficult. Now this might not be completely true for some of lower combat players. But for a quick rundown before we go over the mechanics mid-fight, there is a range and a mage. Little demi-boss. Each of the bosses have a special attack along with just base damage. Keep your HP up. The range special shoots a bunch of fire arrows in the air, and you'll see shadows on the ground. Just avoid standing on any of them. And then for the magic person special, it'll spawn a little highlighted circle, and then shoot a pretty slow magic projectile, big like blue wave at you. If you make your way into the highlighted circle area, you won't take any damage from it. Other than that, just put on your best gear and DPS it out. I went ahead and just used the Zerite crossbow along with some tank gear, and it worked just fine. And then lastly, when we touch it directly on this square, a glowing symbol will appear. Go ahead and touch the glowing symbol. You can protect from one of them. Stay off the shadow areas on the ground whenever the ranged person uses his special. Protect from mage or range. I just happen to protect from magic. Make your way over here onto these highlighted tile whenever he uses that special to completely avoid the damage. Otherwise, once you kill one, switch your protection prayer. Stay off the shadow spots on the ground when he uses his special. I guess when she uses her special. It will get a little more rapid as her health kind of gets lower and she's the last one alive. But nothing too crazy, and it's pretty easy to avoid. And she's dead. And now from here, we want to make our way over to the rainforest. I'm going to use the pendant and teleport to the Dark Frost. And from here, I'm going to make my way over here to this rowboat. And now that I've made it to the rowboat, I'm going to teleport to Tal Taklan. And from here, if you do need to re-up on some food and supplies, you can hit up this bank. I'm going to grab a few more food for the next part of this fight. Now from here, you can make your way a little south and hit this altar if you need to. Otherwise, go ahead and talk to Serveus. And now that we've talked to Serveus, we need to make our way down here to the Tenali Cavern, just a little southeast. And go ahead and enter the passageway. Now in here, you just want to kill all of the brawlers and emissaries. I went ahead and just used a blowpipe, just for some quick DPS. Really, anything works pretty well on these. Just kill them as quickly as you can. Now, as these later waves go on, you just want to make sure you keep the warrior's health up as much as you can. If you need to focus to protect one of the warriors more than the other, make sure you're doing so. Got a little close there, but we got it finished off. Now this is the boss fight you want to protect from melee. Occasionally he will use a special, it just takes off of your prayer. When that floor special occurs, he's just going to use an AGS on the open tiles, so you want to stand on the highlighted rings. And for this ground attack, it's just, he'll do 3 in a row, putting every direction he's facing in a direct line, wall to wall of fire on the ground. Just don't stand on them. Make sure for that highlighted floor special, you get on the highlighted circles as fast as you can. Keep your prayer up whenever he uses a special attack. Sometimes it's a little further away than others. Just constantly be ready to move. And this is where you'll want your melee gear because you can't use anything else. Stay off of the ground, 3 hits in a row. And we might have one more special right here, or we'll be able to finish it off. There we go. Now for the second phase, it'll get a little more difficult. I know those ones are kind of counterintuitive. Usually you want to stand on the open tiles, but this time you want to stand on the highlighted tiles. And its floor special attack gets a little more aggressive, making it 3 tiles instead of 1. But after the little extra 10 to 30% health, you will have finished this boss. Now make your way down here to the west. By standing on these little highlighted strange tiles, they'll teleport you around. Just like so. So you can do a little shortcut to get over here to this log by going across both of those. Now once you pop off that one, go up to the orange one. And now that we're up here, make your way and climb this rope. Now that we're here, try to inspect the strange platform. And now you can use this lift to get up and down this platform. And if I show the minimap, it pops you up right here at the rainforest, and you can quickly hit this bank if you need more supplies. Otherwise, go back down the platform. And let's talk to Prince Itzla. And now we have 2 different puzzles. First, let's go ahead and do the one on the right. Now what you want to do is inspect this statue. And as you can see, we have UEAI, NAUI, and MAKTI. Now, It sounds like this is different for everybody, so this is something you're going to have to do yourself. What you want to do is translate each of these words. My first word means 8. My second word means 4. And then my last word means 10. So the 3 I have are 8, 4, 10. Now for this puzzle, what we're going to do is take essence out of these urns and use them to imbue each altar. Now this setup is currently, the northernmost one is number 8, and it's like a clock starting with 1 to the right. So if this is 8, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every time I imbue this statue, it's going to give me 2 different numbers. You just translate the first 2. But going over the ones I had, you are going to position yourself at the first number, and then you are going to move Itzla to the second number. So my first one I had 8 and 4. I'm going to grab some essence out of the urn, position myself on number 8, move Itzla to number 4, and then imbue on the altar, and that'll complete that section. All you have to do is complete 3 different versions of this. My second one was 2, 6, 10, so I stand over here on number 2, move Itzla to number 6, and imbue, and that completes the second trial. And now that we have 7, 5, I'm going to stand on 7, and I'm going to move him to number 5, and we'll go ahead and imbue. And there is the puzzle complete. Now this one just seems a little more confusing than it actually is, but hopefully that is a decent overview of exactly how you do this puzzle. But now let's make our way out of here to complete the other side. Depending on where we position Itzla is what will turn off each of these fire levels. So if I move him north, it turns off the dark blue. Now we make our way through the dark blue area. Go ahead and pull some of these tree roots. Search the old tools to get a knife blade. And now, if I move him to the southern platform, it disappears the light blue and brings the dark blue back. Doing this over and over again will allow you to transition through the area. Go ahead and pull some more roots. Fletch the ancient roots into kindling. Let's continue making our way all the way around, moving him until we've pulled all of the tree roots. So now that we have some kindling, and if you do need more, you can just continue going back and forth. Every time you pick up all of the tree roots, they do just reset. Otherwise, the way this puzzle works is we want to count all of the lit braziers for both sides of the platform. So for the light side, there is 2. If we move him back to the southern platform, there is 1. Now, it sounds like this is also different for all the players, so be wary of that. But that would mean I have 3 total lit braziers. So I'm going to enter the number 3. And as you can see, the statue glows and accepts my offer. Now this time I have 2 lit braziers if I move him back to the northern. There is 2 more lit braziers. Actually, there's 3, which means this answer is going to be 5. And that is my second completion. And now for my third and final one, if you do need more roots, just like as I mentioned, just continue moving him back and forth to pick more. But now for my final, I have 1, 2, 3. If I move him back to the southern, I have 4, 5, and 6. So I'm going to inspect, put in 6, and that is the third and final completion. Now let's make our way over here to the teleporter, and we should now be able to make our way through the northern door. After talking to Itzla, you'll both stand on the pressure plates, and the door will finally open up. Now through here is yet another boss fight, this one being the most difficult yet throughout the quest. As soon as it starts, go ahead and protect from range. I'm going to put my range gear on. And for the first mechanic we have is a wave attack, similar to plenty we've seen in the game previously. One easy thing to do is kind of keep yourself in the middle of the room to give yourself more time to react to it. But that is the first special that you'll see in this boss fight. Now the second one is the AGS attack. Just like the previous boss, stand on the highlighted circles. Now for this one, you want to stand on the teleporters. But I did screw it up a little bit. You want to stand on the teleporter after the wave passes it, not prior. You'll see he switched to magic. Just like the earlier boss, get on the highlighted circle to protect yourself from any damage. He did turn my prayer off right there. Make sure you don't get KO'd out. Now for this section, there is 2 different waves. Stand on the teleporter after. I panicked and clicked it a little too early once again. And now he switched over to range. Get on the highlighted tiles. I was looking at my inventory eating, so I didn't see that one pop up. Make sure you're wary when there are 2. Now that it passed the wave, I used the teleporter. Now he's back to mage after that phase transitions. Get on to the spots. You can only use 1 protection per spot, so if it does spawn 2, make sure you get on both of them. Now the wave passed, get on the teleport before it hits you. And he's back to range. Every single time you do one of the big specials, he'll switch back and forth between combat styles. So right here, oh, that was just awful timing. I'm not sure if I could have avoided that if I wanted to, but now after that teleport wave, we go back to mage. This time it goes even faster and there's only a couple tile opening. Make sure you keep your HP up, get your protection prayer switched. Always try to get back to the center of the room. And now for the final mechanic. This will not stop, so you have to constantly hit between all of these teleportings. Just try to spam attack. And then you're going to get teleported each time through the quadrant. That is a special attack that does not stop until the boss dies. So don't focus on just teleporting around, because you'll just be continuously stuck in limbo. So as soon as you teleport to the next quadrant, immediately spam click attack with a long range weapon, get 1 attack in, and then start running to the next teleport spot in that quadrant. Now let's jump over here to the pillar. Make your way up here north and head through the entrance. Go ahead and inspect the entrance. Now go ahead and inspect the statue. The moon statue has Renul, and the left statue for the sun has Raylos. Now after that, let's go ahead and search the skeleton, and you'll find a tablet. Read the tablet, and your screen will fade to black and teleport you out. And with that, you have completed the final Dawn quest. I accidentally clicked through all of the XP without reading it, but you get 25k fletching, 25k rune crafting, 55k thieving, along with a 55k combat XP lamp that can be used on prayer. Otherwise, you also get the new Arcan Blade, which is the weapon that's similar to the D-Sim. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it incredibly helpful. I'm sure it's rough around the edges. This is day 1, very early in the day. The whole point of the guide is to try to get you to Doom as quickly as possible. Hopefully it still helped a lot with some of the puzzles and seeing the boss fights early. Regardless, if you guys did enjoy, consider dropping a like. It massively helps me out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.